Listen, you sounded frustrated yesterday afternoon, and just almost, I think, as a frustration, a level of frustration, and you sounded tired and perplexed. Yeah. Like, my God, look at this number.
Well, tired. Frustrated is something that obviously it's hard to be frustrated when it's happening all over and you see it. I mean, it's just concerning and it is tiring for all of us, but especially when we see the numbers come in the way they did. And when Phyllis told me early yesterday that we're going to be around 200, it just about floored me. I was like, "You're wow. kidding!" Wow. I mean, it was, and usually, we trend a little bit higher in the middle of the week because of the weekend batch, but still, the 200 cases means a lot of infection over the last,
it means
especially when you add in the other days.
Yeah,
a lot of infection over the last week, and that is, if it's frustrating, it's concerning, and it's really, a serious time.
Well, it's funny. We had 50, 60 over the weekend between on the 2 days, but at the end it was I think 99 cases over the weekend.
89.
Oh, was it 89 total? So either way, that's 89 over 2 days. We weren't anywhere close to that in August and September. So
no.
Even those numbers are high.
We weren't close to that in April. Though.
And you're right.
Even those numbers. I remember coming out in April when we had announced, I think 35 for the first time, somewhere around 30. I was like, oh my God, here we go, 30 cases,
mm-hmm.
and here, 105, 109, 108. And now 214. I mean, it's concerning. And
214 cases yesterday. If you have not heard.
Yeah.
I almost felt like, and I tuned in a little bit late, so because word spread quickly around here that there was such a high number, and I immediately went to your live stream. And did I sense that you've kind of really realized that there's no way you can contact trace all these people, and that you were suggesting that if you've been in contact with people, let them know as we try to catch up?
We've been talking about that for the last couple of weeks, just in general, even with the cases, even as the cases are in that, 50, 70 range, it's very difficult day to day to catch up. Our people are stretched out and they've been remarkable. I mean, and we've had great volunteers in addition to that, but, and I moved staff from other offices over to do contact tracing. So we're just, and big counties like us or bigger counties like us with those numbers are getting overwhelmed. And we've been talking with the state about, look, we're going to reach a point where we're going to have to tell people, look, just quarantine, contact your people.
Yeah.
As quick as you can. We're going to have to shorten the process a little bit, but it is over. It's just the numbers are just so much that we try to get to everybody, and if we don't, then people call, but we know that frustration. So we need to continue to educate people about what they should do.
Certainly, this is not a place where we want to go. What is the line though to where we become an orange zone?
We got to get to yellow first.
Well,
we got to get to yellow first.
Yeah,
we're right.
Let's hope we don't get to yellow first.
Well, I mean, we're at about 2.8, 2.9% as a region and as a county as well. And so if we get to yellow, if we get over that 3%, we get to yellow. If we get higher than that, obviously we go to the orange or whatever that Onondaga is going through. So.
But is that 5%? Is it 4%? Is it anything over 3?
Over 3 is yellow.
It's over 3 is yellow. If we get into 4, 4 and 5, then I believe you go into orange. I mean, it's one of those things, though, too, that the governor can designate just looking at, the region or the county itself or a particular zip code. We've increased some testing in 13501 because of the high numbers we saw. I mean, we didn't see any kind of cluster or anything. It was just the number of people. And look, that's where the biggest population is. A lot of people work. A lot of people are active. So, we did that this week for the first 3 days. Monday, yesterday, and today is another day of testing at Union Station for 13501 area code. So we'll see what comes out of that too. But again, just judging by the numbers, we'll probably get some high numbers there.
Right. So has there been any talk? Because I understand there have been changes. So what has changed? Schools have gone back, and I know we're saying that schools aren't spreading, but, well, they do have cases. And there's also that asymptomatic problem. So chances are those younger people are not showing symptoms, so they're not getting tested. So we really don't know. But beyond that, school's back, more indoor going on. But I don't know if we're both from the same community, basically, and there was a lot of activity over the summer.
Yeah, there were a lot of parties.
A lot of parties, and I get it. There was a lot of outdoors, but there was a lot of behavior I kind of shook my head at, like, this is not good. But the cases didn't spread. Now, I still feel like it's not like we're going nuts here. I know there's probably house parties and that sort of thing, but it doesn't seem like behavior is that different. Has there been talk about the potential that the virus has mutated into something that is far more contagious? Because it just seems that way right now.
Yeah, it seems like it's and again, it was prefaced, the
we're surmising,
the clarifying of not being a doctor or anything close. So, is there a specific strain of this virus that is more more powerful now for whatever reason, throughout? And what we are seeing, and Phyllis brought this up yesterday in our briefing, is what we are seeing, though, is more spread within families that we didn't see in even the early days and even the summer, as cases were still among us, and whether they were in double digits or whatever. So if Bill, if you got it, and then it was in your household, that was it.
Right.
What we're seeing more of today is that if you get it, your wife gets it, your children get it, and we're seeing more of that family spread that's taken root for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody or even the experts can pinpoint that. So we're seeing more of that in these, I don't want to call them clusters, but in these numbers, if you will, because, whether it's indoors, whether it's the heat being on, that's what's spreading it. Again, in the summer, you got air conditioning, but you're in and out. So people are moving more freely. I don't know. It really, I guess, we may never know, and we just may see these numbers go where they've gone and have to deal with it from that point. But we are seeing more of the family type spread, and that's why Thanksgiving is so important to really, I don't want to be like, the governor and be, you're looking in people's windows. Nobody's doing that, but you really have to think about, who's coming in your own circle of constant family members or whatever that you see. So,
and it's hard, and there are a lot of people that are gonna. It's funny because if you talk to some people, if you look on Facebook, there are those that are saying, "Yep, I'm gonna have 20 people, and I invite anyone to come into this house and tell us we can't have our children and grandchildren here." So I get it. And there's going to be a lot of that, which means chances are we're going to see a lot on the other side. But I also feel, Tony, there are a lot of people that are really taking this seriously because they feel like they can't get this thing.
Right, they are. And I think it's more so even then, we saw at Easter time when this first began back in April, and then you had Memorial Day, and you had the 4th of July, and you even had Labor Day. But again, the outside factor was a lot more, much more accessible in that regard for those three summer holidays. But at the same time, we didn't see this in Easter. People were calling our office saying, "We're having as many people as we want," and forget about it. And I think I'm hearing more from people now that nope. I mean, people I'm surprised that nope, it's just our family. Nobody's coming. Yeah. And look, we're doing it here. We've done it. Just I have in-laws that are elderly. We're not bringing them out or whatever, or going there. We're just going to drop off food for them, and that's it. And the same here. So I mean, the families, it really is. If you don't have that immediate circle that is constant in your household, then you really shouldn't expand it. But look, people are going to do what want to do. We understand that. It's just really be safe and really trying. It's a big weekend too. I mean, in addition, this is a different one. Even this rivals Christmas and New Year's because it's a multi-day celebration.
You've got the virus over here and a $99 TV over here.
Well, right, you got Black Friday. Exactly.
Right, put that together with it as well.
Put that right. Exactly.
I will. I'm trying to squeeze in a few. I know we only have a few minutes left, but I noticed a change yesterday in policy. At least I believe it's a change. In that if you are in contact with someone with the virus, even if you've tested negative, you should still quarantine for 14 days.
There really has been in there from the beginning. That's something that if you're a direct contact with a positive, you need to quarantine.
Okay.
And that's something that people don't always do because they feel that, okay, Bill was positive, I came in contact with him, I went and got a test a couple of days later, I'm negative, I can move around.
Yeah.
That's number one. And now if you're an essential worker, obviously some of those things are different. The other point, though, is that, even people when they go get a test, even, either asymptomatic or even slight symptoms, you really need to stay home until you get those results. And then even afterwards, if you're positive, you have to.
Yeah, but even if it's negative.
You really shouldn't be moving around.
Yeah.
While you're waiting for those test results, if you're symptomatic, if you're asymptomatic and you don't, and you're just getting a test for work or for whatever purpose, as we do. I mean, I do every 2 weeks, but I'm not symptomatic, so I can continue. But if you are symptomatic, you really got to stop and wait till those results come in. And we're not going to. We're stopping, like other counties, the public exposures because there's just too many of them.
So the reality is it's everywhere. If you're not realizing it's everywhere at this point. And then is the county office building, you've added new restrictions over there, and are they still in place because of an outbreak there?
We've clamped down again as we did earlier in the year in the spring when we started limiting. And we're not doing meetings, again, we're going back to all Zoom. I mean, we're doing a lot of that anyway, but we are still open for services and spacing people out and doing the things that, we need to do so that our employees stay safe and can deliver the services. So, I recommend that.
All right.
Again, for everybody, I recommend, any of the governments, but any offices. I know Adirondack Bank. I talked to.
The banks are all
they're closing.
They're all closing their lobbies at the end of the week.
Yeah, and that's it. That they need to. It's really, those are the kind of things we can do rather than shut everything down. That just to be much safer.
Yep. Okay. One more question. I know Andrew has something on
the zip code testing that you did for 13501. Do you expect that will be a higher number with the testing that was done there, and will there be other testing sites set up like that?
There possibly will. I think we'll look at the numbers of the other areas. I mentioned a week ago. Rome was also a high number, and given the population, but also Camden was a high number. So we may establish some rural test site or at some point, but we'll see. We'll see what the numbers look like over the next several days or the next few days, really, and go from there. And we'll see what comes out of the Utica testing thing. We had a steady flow, so we'll see.
Tony, how do these come about? Do you request one? Does the state say you're getting a few tests? We're going to order this for your area? How does this work?
It's a combination. I mean, a week ago I asked the state, because Griffiths had been shut down on Sundays, which, that's been a great site for testing. And, as I started seeing numbers go up, I called the governor's office and said, look, we need that extra day because we need more tests. And then it led into, let's look at these other zip codes and a combination of our health department and state health said, okay, let's set up 13501. So, we're monitoring every aspect, every minute of every day. So, we're doing it together.
And no report will be done. Will be done tomorrow on Thanksgiving Day.
No, we're going to, and that's that's for a couple of reasons. We're realigning our system of contact tracing between the the state system and ours, and combining that. So that'll give us time to
Yep.
go into the new system. But also, look, we want people to let's be smart, but let's enjoy the day and not get bogged down with numbers for one day.
All right. County Executive, have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
You too, and all your families and everyone out there. Please be safe and have a very happy happy Thanksgiving. And as I said yesterday, make sure that those chairs at the table are filled for next year. So.
Yep. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
again, be safe out there. Thank you.
Take care.
County Executive Anthony Picente.